Welcome to the Pixel Walking Talking PPA paper. This is the higher tier Edexcel paper 1. This is a non-calculated paper. The time allowed is 1 hour and 45 minutes and there are 100 marks available. Question 1. Mr. Hepner asked 180 Year 11 students what they want to do next year. 3/4 want to stay at school, 15% want to go to college, and the rest do not know. You need to work out the number of students who do not know. So first off, let's work out 3/4. So 3/4 of 180. First step is divide 180 by 4, which we can do by halving, 90, and halving again, 45. We then times that by 3 to find 135, which is the number of students who want to stay at school. Let's then look at 15%. So 15% of 180. So 10% is equal to 18. Half of that, 5%, will be equal to 9. So therefore, the total 18 plus 9 is 27. So the number of students who want to go to college is 27. Now we need to find out the remaining students, and they're the ones who do not know. So first let's add 135 plus 127 makes 162. Our total number of students is 180. We subtract 162 and we are left with 18. So the number of students who do not know what they're going to do is 18. Question 2. Use the fact that 74 multiplied by 35.9 is equal to 2,656.6 to find the value of these three calculations. So first, if we look here, our 0.79 has been divided by 1,000, and here we have times by 10. So bringing those together cancels out. We have divide by 10 overall. Therefore, our final answer we divide by 10, which gives us 265.66. The next part here, if we look at our first number, this has been multiplied by 1,000. 7.4 has been divided here by 10. So the overall impact is multiplied by 100. So therefore our answer will be 265,660. Here now we're working in the reverse. We've got a division. So if we look here, we have 26566 divided by 7.4. So one way to do these easily when you're dividing is to work out an approximate. So if we rounded those, we would be looking at 30,000 divided by 7. So we know that if it was 28,000, it would be approximately 4,000. Here we have 30, so this is all an estimation. So this number here needs to be in the thousands. So our answer must therefore be 3590. Question 3. Here are the marks scored by 20 students in the French test. So 20 is important because we need to check once we've done our stem and leaf diagram that we have 20 values. Let's first off look for the smallest number. Our smallest number here is 6 and our largest number is 40 here. So our first row will be for the units, then we'll look at everything in the 10s, in the 20s, in the 30s and the 40s. Now it's really important that we put these numbers in order of size. So first off, we have 6 as the smallest, so 6 goes here, followed by 9, and 9 goes next. We then have 11 twice, so we write 1, 1. We have 14, 15, 16 twice, and 19. Now moving on to the 20s. We have a 20, so we put a 0 here. We have a 22, a 24, a 25, a 27, and a 28. So in order of increasing size. Moving on to the 30s, we have a 31 twice, so that's 1, 1. We have a 32 and a 33. And our final number here is 40, so 4, 0. We then need to write a key. So next to the stem and leaf diagram, for example, if we put this means 14 marks. Before we move on, we need to count the numbers to the right of the line to check we have 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're then asked to work out the median. We have 20 values, so we add 1 to the total number and divide by 2. 21 divided by 2 is 10.5. This means we look at the 10th and the 11th and we go halfway. So we look at our stem and leaf diagram and we're looking here for the 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 10th value, this is the 11th value. So halfway between 20 and 22. Add them up, divide by 2. Gives us 42 divided by 2, so therefore the median value is 21. Question 4. Here are the first 4 terms of an arithmetic sequence. Let's take a look at the sequence and look at the intervals. Between 3 and 11, we add 8. We add 8 consistently all the way along. Therefore, this is related to the 8 times table. 8n is the first part. Now, if we compare our sequence to the 8 times table, 8, 16, 24, we don't want 8, we want 3. We don't want 16, we want 11. Therefore, we must subtract 5. So 8n minus 5 is the nth term. We're then asked, is 115 a term in this sequence? Well, let's see. If this is the nth term, does it equal 115? Do we get a whole number, an integer? So add 5 to this side, we're now going to solve. 8n equals 120. So n equals 120 divided by 8. So here, 120 divided by 8 is the same as 60 divided by 4, which is the same as 30 divided by 2, which is 15. Therefore, is this a sequence in the sequence? Yes, it is the 15th term in the sequence. If when we did this we didn't get a whole number, that would then tell us that the number is not in the sequence. Question 5. In this question we have an asterisk. There is an additional mark available for your working out and your explanations. So in the diagram, triangle, we have ABC, which is a triangle. We have parallel lines, we have an angle marked here and an angle marked here. We need to find the angle X. So our first step is to look at what we have already. This angle here can be found because angles on a straight line add up to 180. So let's first start with angle CDE, which equals 45. And we write that onto our diagram. We must also write Y. Angles, straight line, 180 degrees. Okay, let's look at what we can find also with the 70. Well, we have 70 here, so this angle here is also 70. That angle is CED. And that's because it corresponds corresponding angle with EAB. So now we can find this angle here in the triangle, angle DCE, because angles in a triangle add up to 180. So our missing angle here must be 65, because angles in a triangle add up to 180. Now that we have this value here, we can now find x, because we have here an alternate angle. So here now our angle EAF is equal also to 65, because it is an alternate with the angle DCE. Question number 6. There are some green marbles, red, yellow and black marbles in a box. Here we have a table that shows a probability. First off, we can work out the probability that it's yellow, because all of these must add up to 1. So if we add these 3 up, we get to 0.8. Therefore, the missing probability here is 0.2. We then need to work out the number of red marbles. We're told in total there is 300, and the probability for red is 0.3. So 300 multiplied by 0.3 gives us 90 marbles. A marble is taken at random from the box. Work out the probability that the marble will be yellow. We've done that already from completing the table, 0.2. Question number 7. Again, we need to be careful in this question because there is an additional mark available for your quality of your written communication, how you lay out your work. We're told that this is a layout of a small field. Immediately we can see that some of the sides are missing. So here we have 18 along here, and here we have 4. So the missing part here, straight line, can be found by 18 subtract 4, which gives us 14 metres. Again, we have another missing side. Here we have 10. And this side, which is missing, plus this side, 7, must add up to 10. So our missing length here is 3 metres. So first off, we're going to calculate the area. So let's split our shape into 2. We can have here, and we can label this side A and this side B. So let's work out the area of A. A can be found by 4 multiplied by 10, which is 40 metres squared. B can be found by 14 multiplied by 7. 14 multiplied by 7 is equal to 98. We then find the total area, which equals 40 plus 98, which is equal to 138 metres squared. And we're told that Philip is going to keep some pigs in the field. Then each pig needs an area of 36 square metres. So we need to know how many 36s fit into 138. So we can do this in a number of ways. If we have 1 pig, they will need 36. 2 pigs will need 72. 3 pigs will need 108. And 4 pigs will need 144. But that is too much. We do not have enough for the 4 pigs. So the total number of pigs is just the 3 pigs here. So work out the greatest number, 3 pigs. Question 8. Megan gets paid £150 each week. She shares her money with her sister Lisa in the ratio 3:2. So we have Megan and Lisa, 3:2. Megan gets paid £150 each week. That's the total that she is sharing with her sister. So we have 5 parts and we have £150. Megan saves 15% of her money each week. How long will it take Megan to save £180? So if she shares her money, we've got £150 divided by 5. 150 divided by 5 is equal to 30. So Megan takes 90, 3 times 30, and she gives Lisa 60. So this part here is Megan's money. Megan then saves 15% of her money. So the total she has is 90. Therefore, 10% of her money is 9. 5% of her money is 4.5. Therefore, 15% of her money is £13.50. So we're saying, how long will it take her to save £180? So for 1 week, she gets £13.50 of savings. Okay, so if we multiply that by 10 for 10 weeks, that will give us £135. So we still need to save £45. So let's work out how many more. So if she's got 1 week, it's £13.50. So this is for 10 weeks. 2 weeks will be £27. So then at 3 weeks, she will get another £13.50, which comes to £40.50. We add that to our £135 plus our £40. She now has a total after 13 weeks of 175. So it's going to take her another week, which will be the £54. So 981. So then we have here the amount after 13 weeks, and this here the amount after 14 weeks. So it is going to take Megan 14 weeks to save the £180. Question 9. Carol wants to find out how much people spend using their mobile phone. She uses this question on a questionnaire. How much do you spend on your mobile phone? There's 2 things wrong with this question. First, there is no time period. So to design a better question, she needs to include here a time period in, e.g. a week, month, year. The second thing that's wrong with this is we have overlapping boxes. So here, if you spent £10, do you tick here or here? And there's also no options for people who don't spend anything or who spend over £30. So there is overlapping response boxes. So to improve that, you'd need to put down some options such as less than £10, £10 to £20, and then for people that spend more, we can do more than £20. Question 10. Here we have algebra. First we need to expand by multiplying. X times 5 is 5x. X times x is x squared. expand and simplify. So first, 6 times x is 6x, 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times x is 5x, and 5 multiplied by negative 2 is minus 10. That's the expanding part. We now need to simplify. So looking at our x's, we have 11 x's, and we have 12 subtract 10, which leaves us with 2. Okay, again here we're going to expand by going 3m multiplied by m is m squared. 3m multiplied by 2, but multiplied by 4 is 12m. Here, negative 2 multiplied by m is negative 2m, and negative 2 multiplied by 4 is negative 8. That's the expansion part. We're now going to simplify. So here in the middle we have two terms with m. So we have here 3m squared, 12 take away 2 is 10m, minus 8. Here we're told to factorise fully. That's a clue that there's going to be more than one factor outside the bracket. Well, we have 15 and 10, both are in the 5 times table, and here we have b's in both terms. So 5b outside the bracket, inside the bracket, 3b plus 2. Here we have a quadratic that we need to expand. The coefficient of the number here in front of the y squared is 1, so we're looking at 15. Factors of 15, 1 and 15, 3 and 5. And we need to make positive 2. So we're going to have y plus 5 and y subtract 3. Question 11. Chalfont Wanderers are a basketball team. At the end of 20 games, their mean score is 31 points. At the end of 21 games, their mean score has gone down to 30. How many points did the team score in the 21st game? To do that, we take the 20 games to start with, and we multiply by 31, the number of points. That gives us 620. We then look at the 21 games and multiply by 30, which was their new points, which gives us 630. So the difference between these two is where we are going to find the number of points. 630 subtract 620 is 10 points, and this tells us that in the 21st game, the number of points was 10. Question 12. Nina drives 181 miles to visit her friend, Danny. She drives 45 miles on ordinary roads and the rest on motorway. So let's just visualise this journey for Nina. This is her journey from A to B, and she does 45 miles up to this point. Miles on ordinary roads. She then does the rest on the motorway. So 181 subtract the 45 miles will give us the number that she was doing on the motorway, and that is 136 miles. We're told here that she completes the whole journey in 3.5 hours. So the total for this whole journey, again I'm going to take my ruler and just measure the whole journey. Takes 3.5 hours. She drives at an average speed of 30 kilometers per hour on the ordinary roads. So in this section we have 30 miles per hour, and we need to calculate the speed on the motorway. Well, first off, let's see how long it takes her to do the first part of the journey on the ordinary roads. So she travels 45 miles and her speed is 30. Therefore, that takes her 1.5 hours. So on the ordinary roads, she's there for 1.5 hours. Therefore, the motorway, 3.5, subtract the 1.5, means that she is on the motorway for 2 hours. So this part of the journey lasts for 2 hours. And she travels for 136 miles. So to calculate the speed there, we need to calculate that per hour. So if it's 2 hours, 136, we're going to divide that by 2 to give us 68, which is the miles per hour for the part that Nina is travelling on the motorway. Question 14. A floor is tiled using 2 different shapes. One of the shapes is an equilateral triangle here. Therefore, each of these angles will be 60 degrees. The other is a regular polygon. We don't know what polygon, and we're asked to work out what shape that is. So if this is 60, 360 degrees, subtract the 60, leaves us with 300. Now these two are identical, so we can divide by 2 to find each angle here is 150 degrees. And these are the internal angles, the interior. And one of the angle rules states that the interior plus the exterior must equal 180 degrees. So if the interior is 150, this means our exterior is 30. We can then easily find the number of sides because with a total of any polygon's exterior angles is 360 degrees. So divide that by 30 tells us that we have here 12 sides. So the shape, which is a regular polygon by 12 sides, is called the dodecagon. Question 14. Write down the reciprocal of 2. That is 1 over 2. Here we need to evaluate 5 to the negative 2. When we have a negative power, we must write the number under 1. This then becomes our positive power 1 over 5 squared, which is equal to 1 over 25. We're then asked to calculate and to give the answer in standard form. Well, first off, our 6 times our 7 is 42. We then add our powers, 5 and 9 is 14. But this is not in standard form, the 42. So we must change this to 4.2 times 10 to the 14. The power here is 1, so overall 4.2 times 10 to the power 15. Question 15. Ben works at Wood Hill School. One day he collects information about how long it takes members of staff to travel to school. This is shown here, and we have a total of 80 staff. So we need to draw a cumulative frequency diagram. To do that, we place 12 here for our first frequency, because this is the same category. We then need to do 12 add our 33 because we're now going from 0 to 40. And this gives us 45. So this is these two added together. The next we add 17, 62. Then we add 10, 72. Add 6, 78. Add 2, 80. And this final row here must be the same as the total given in the question. We're now going to plot this onto the grid. When we plot it onto the grid for our cumulative frequency, we take these values here up to 120 to plot here against our cumulative frequency. So the first point we are looking for is 20 here and 12 here. The scale here is going up in twos, so 12 is here. We then have 40 and 45. 60 and 62. 80 and 72. 178. And lastly, 120 and 80. For the second mark, we need to be able to join our points in a smooth S-shaped curve, starting here at the 0. We need to not choose a ruler, and we must go through all of the points. So we're going to come up here, try and draw it in one continuous curve. It's slightly more difficult here on the computer screen to make it smooth, making sure you're using your pencil. We're then told that BIM says 75% of the staff take more than 20 minutes to travel to school, and we need to work out if BIM is correct. So we have in total 80 staff, so let's find 75% of the 80. So 75%, 0.75 multiplied by 80, or half again, and then multiplied by 3 is 60. So 60 staff. So let's take a look here at 20 minutes. We have 20 minutes here on our graph, and that corresponds to the 12. And we can also have that here from the frequency table. But we're looking for them that are more than 20 minutes to travel to school. So we need to do 80, subtract the 12, which is equal to 68. So according to the data we have here, 68 staff took more than 20 minutes to travel to school. Is BIM correct? No, because it is more than 75%. 60 would be 75%, but actually more than 75% of the staff travel for more than 20 minutes. Question 16. The perimeter of this triangle is equal to the perimeter of this rectangle. We're asked to find the shortest side of the rectangle. Our sides here are expressed algebraically. With a rectangle, the opposite sides are equal. So this side here is also 4x plus 4, and here 2x minus 3. So let's find an expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. Adding up our sides here, with 3x and 2x is 5x, subtract 1x is 4x. 12, add 3 is 15, add 3 is 18. So we have the perimeter of the rectangle equals the perimeter of the rectangle is equal to this perimeter for the triangle. So here we have 4 and 4 is 8, 10, 12x. 4 and 4 is 8, subtract 3 and subtract 3 leaves us with 2. We can then solve this. So first step is subtract the minus 4x, which leaves us with 18 equals 8x plus 2. Subtract the 2 from both sides, 16 equals 8x. Divide by 8, 16 divided by 8, x is equal to 2. Now we're not quite there because we're asked to find the shortest side of the triangle. So we need to substitute this into the sides to find the shortest side. So if we go here, 3x, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 3, 9. Here, 2 times 4, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. And here, 12 take away 2 is 10. So the shortest side of the rectangle, of the triangle, is 7 centimetres. Question 17. Complete the table for values for the graph y equals 6 divided by x. So first off, we have x is 0.5. 6 divided by 0.5 is equal to 12. How many 0.5s fit into 6? 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. And 12 divided by 6 is a half. Now plotting those points onto the graph here, we have 0.5 and 12, which is here, 1 and 6, 2 and 3, 3 and 2, making sure you've got those the right way round. And then along here to 10 is 0.6, approximately there, and 15, 0.5. Taking your pencil, we now need to join these to get a curve. So again, we're looking for a smooth curve that goes through all of the points. Doing this, you might want to turn your paper around and there. So on the graph, we're going to draw that grid shown here, 1 by plotting and 2 connecting into a smooth curve. Question 18. Simplify this surd. We need to give our answer in this form. This means we need to rationalise the denominator. We do that by multiplying by the denominator. So we have 6 plus root 3 over root 3, and then we're going to multiply the numerator by root 3 and the denominator by root 3. Doing that, we have our denominator now becomes 3. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. And then here we have 6 root 3 and root 3 multiplied by root 3, which is 3. We can then split that into two fractions, 6 root 3 over 3, add 3 over root 3. Simplifying here, we have this cancelling here to give 2, this cancelling with this to give 1. So we have 2 root 3 plus 1. Question 19. The cost of building a circular pond is proportional to the square of its diameter, d metres. Let's write that down to start. So the cost is proportional to the square of its diameter, d squared. Given that the diameter is 2 metres and costs £68. So we're going to write this now as an equation with a constant in front of the d squared. We then substitute in our two values here. Our cost is 68 and we have a diameter of 2 metres, 2 squared. 68 is equal to 4k, therefore k equals 68 divided by 4. K equals 17. So now we rewrite our equation here. C equals 17d squared. We can then use that to find the cost of building a different pond with 3 metres. This part here changes to 3. The cost is then equal to 17 multiplied by 3 squared, which is 17 times 9. Therefore, the cost is £153. Question 19. Write as a single fraction in its simplest form. Just like when we have our fractions expressed as numbers, for example, here we multiply this side by the numerator, the denominator of the other side, and here are 4, we multiply here and here. So we're going to do the same rules here by multiplying our fractions across. So we have 5 bracket 1 minus y, And then here on the other side we have 3 bracket 2y. Our denominators are the same, 2y bracket 1 minus y, and here 2y bracket 1 minus y. And this is a subtraction. So now let's expand the brackets here on our numerators. And we're going to have 5 minus 5y. And then we're going to have 6y. And this is a subtraction. So simplifying this part here together, we have 5 minus 11y over the common denominator of 2y bracket 1 minus y. Here we're asked to make a the subject of the formula. A appears in 2 places. Our first step is to multiply the b by the denominator here to move this part up. So we will have b brackets a plus 7 close brackets equals 4 minus 2a. We then expand the bracket, ab plus 7b equals 4 minus 2a. Because the a appears in 2 places, we need to get the a's together on one side. So I'm going to add my 2a to this side. So I have ab plus 2a, and I'm going to subtract my 7b to the other side. Then I can factorise the left-hand side. A comes outside the bracket, b plus 2 equals 4 minus 7b. I then can divide by the factor to eliminate a so it is on its own. 4 minus 7b all divided by b plus 2. Question 21. Manpreet has 10 coins in a bag. There are 4 £1 coins and 6 50p coins. He takes 3 coins from the bag at random. We want to work out the probability that he takes exactly £2.50. To do this, we're going to draw a tree diagram. Because he takes 3 coins, there's going to be 3 parts to the tree diagram. So let's start here. The first option is £1 or 50p. Then it happens again, £1 or 50p. Then it happens for a third time, Okay, so notice that what's happened is that what is happening is at the end of the branches, not on the branches. It's really important here to notice also that he takes 3 coins from the bag. He doesn't replace any. So once one is gone, there is then less coins in the bag. We're now going to write on the probabilities. So to start with, there are 10 coins and there are 4 £1 coins. So the first time he picks, there is a 4 out of 10 chance of getting a £1 coin and a 6 out of 10 chance of getting a 50p coin. Now let's suppose we go up here and he's had one of the £1 coins. Now there are only 3 £1 coins left out of a total of 9. He hasn't had any 50p, so there is still 6, but the total in the bag is 9. If he takes 2 £1 coins, there then will only be 2 left out of 8. He still hasn't taken any 50p pieces using this route, so 6 over 8. If we go along here, he's taken £1 and he's taken a 50p. That means that there are 3 £1 left over 8. He's taken 1 50p, so there is 5 out of 8 left. Now let's start again from the beginning here, moving in the 50p direction. If he takes 50p the first time and the second time, there will only be 5 left over the 9. He takes a 50p again, there will only be 4 left over the 8. Okay, going back to this point here and going up to £1. He hasn't taken a £1 yet, so there is still 4, but there is only 9 left because he's taken one of the 50p's. Does he get a pound again? There's now £3 left out of the 8. This branch here, he's taken a 50p already, he's taken a pound, so there's 5 50p left out of the 8. If he's taken 2 50p's, he hasn't touched any of the pounds, so there is 4 over the 8 left of the pounds. And we've already completed the 50p here. We want to know the probability that he takes exactly £2.50. So let's take a look at how we're going to get £2.50. If we go this way, we're going to get £3. That's not going to work. We're going to go here, £2 plus the 50. This here will give us £2.50. This will also give us £2.50. This will give us £2. No, this will give us £2.50. This will give us £2. This will give us £2, and this will give us £1.50. So there are only 3 ways of getting £2.50 exactly. So we're going to now write out the probabilities for those 3 ways. So for this route here, we're going to start at £1, go through £1, and then to 50. So this route here is 4 over 10 multiplied by 3 over 9 multiplied by 6 over 8. We're then going to look at the next route, going from here, this way, and this way, is going to give us 4 over 10 times 6 over 9 times 3 over 8. And our last route through on the green here, here, and here is going to give us 6 over 10 multiplied by 4 over 9 multiplied by 3 over 8. So here now we need to work out the answers to each one of these and add together. So 4 times 3 is 12, and then 12 times 6 is 72. So our numerator here is 72. You will notice that all of them have the same numerator of 72 because it's the same numbers in a different order. The denominator, if we do 9 times 8 first, which we know as 9 times 8 is 72, then multiply by the 10 gives us 720. So actually, all of the probabilities are the same. We then add together 72 3 times gives us our answer of 216 divided by 720. This is the correct answer. You may want to simplify. If you do, you will get 3 over 10 or 0.3. Question 22. A sphere and cylinder have equal volumes. The sphere has a radius of 3r and the cylinder has a radius 2r and height h. We need to find h in terms of r. So first let's take a look at the sphere. The volume of a sphere can be calculated by using this formula here. We know that r is 3r for this particular cylinder and sphere that we are dealing with. We are given some of the dimensions. So let's substitute that now into the equation. So we have 4 over 3 times by pi, and then our r, which is 3r to the power 3. Let's look at the cylinder. Here we have the volume of a cylinder is found by pi r squared h. Now we have some information given that height is height and the radius is 2r. So substituting here we have 2r squared height. Okay, so this 3 here applies to the r part but also the 3. Similarly here the power 2 applies to both parts. So we have 4 over 3 pi 27 r cubed. Here we have pi 4r squared height. And the important part is that these two are equal. We now need to simplify as much as possible. So our pi's can cancel, our 4's can cancel, and here can cancel with here, which just leaves us with 1r. So we then have 27r over 3 equals the height. One step further, we notice here that 27 divided by 3 gives us 9r, which is equal to the height. So we've been asked to find h in terms of r. H is equal to 9r.